We're going to try something a little different. It's Father's Day. This Father's Day, make sure Dad gets it. That was from a Sopranos, season 3, season 4 DVDs box set where the guy gets shot. I forget who gets shot. This is a Nerf gun, not a real gun. My mom gave me a real gun. I don't really use it to protect myself. Whatever. I'm going to be shooting from a distance, I will say 15 to 20 feet to try to shoot these targets here, these little orange things. You know, it's a basic Nerf gun, okay? I remember my dad would, his whole hobby, he had 3 basic hobbies, okay? Or 4. He liked history, he liked cameras, taking pictures, developing photos with, using the stop bath and developing like in a dark room, right? Like don't open the light, close the door and develop pictures and stuff like that. He liked classical music and of course guns, but real guns, not Nerf guns, real guns with real bullets. Smith & Wessons, Colts, Rugers, rifles, semi-automatics. I remember the first time I had these things. We're going to start shooting here. Okay, I missed. And the feeling of holding a gun is not the same, like with the Nerf gun, you can just hold it in one hand, right? But with a handgun, it's a big old hunk of metal. And that thing kicks. I mean, it fucking kicks. So you feel like your hand is being punched. You get the powder burns and all that. I'm aiming too high. That's too high. Well, we'll keep at this. That's too low. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that for me, it was not easy. I mean, the way I just shot right now is, this is me reloading. The way I just shot right now, that's kind of how I shot. We used to go to rifle ranges. When my sisters were younger, in their teenage years, they would do tournaments, like rifle tournaments, hunting tournaments. I don't know what it was. Long time ago. Way back. Okay, we're ready to try again. Let's see how this goes. Object, of course, is to shoot the bottles. Not doing so well. Got one. 2 more shots. Okay. Well, we'll do a couple more times. I'll reload about 2 more times. So this is the penultimate load here. But yeah, I remember the last time I really went to the rifle range. Now the way the rifle range worked was that you would shoot for about 5 minutes. And then there would be a 30-second warning to a ceasefire. Everybody would cease fire, and then people would change their targets. Now most targets, as you see from the movies, they're essentially they're like head with a chest, and it's in black like a silhouette, and you see the targets in the center. So, from where I'm shooting, about 15 to 20 feet from these little orange bottles, you can kind of tell that it's not an easy thing. And I'm all over the place. Okay? I mean, it's hard. But the way I kept missing my shots. I never would shoot at the target. And that caused problems between my dad and me. So much so that the week before we went to the rifle range on the weekend, he drank tequila. Or actually, no, that was a Wednesday. I remember on my 14th birthday, we went to the rifle range, which was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something else. I don't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to go shooting with my dad at the rifle range at 14. This was 1992. Like, what the fuck would I want to do this for? Like, I did it. See, my dad was so narcissistic. He was not afraid to use the belt, to use the back of his hand, to punch you in the back, to pull your ears. I mean, he would do it to you. You talk shit, he will just smack you good until you had, you know, two black eyes. My dad was like that. I'm trying to find the bullets. We're gonna do one last attempt at this. But honestly, like, he had a bottle of tequila and was so cowardly to my mom, he wouldn't even tell her that he had tequila. So he saved that tequila for when I fucked up so that he could smack me around. And my mom does not, I'm pretty sure my mom threatened to divorce him after he smacked me around, but my mom does not know this, but he took one of his guns, probably knew ahead of time that he didn't have it loaded, and he pulled the trigger and shot himself in the chest 4 or 5 times just to show some point. I was trembling like fuck. Like, what is the matter with you? If you didn't want to have children, if we were such a burden to you, why the fuck did you just why did you impregnate our mom 6 times? Like, are you that stupid? Here you are with your history books and your knowledge of the world, and you dare tell us that we're wrong when you were the one who was wrong? Go fuck yourself. But if you told that, you'd go, what you say to me? What you say? I'll fucking fuck you up. Like, that's how he was. He would blame everybody else for his problems. And that was hard. Now keep in mind that you have to credit the man for putting food on the table, okay? He put food, clothes on your back. That's the way it was. But you say anything, even if it's 110% correct, and he don't like it, you know what you're going to get. So, we're going to do one last attempt at this. Because my dad did not like video games. My dad was born in the 40s. He was not into video games. So that was tough, right? So, after my mom threatened divorce, my dad was apologetic, and he was angry and upset at himself, but he was sorry. I don't think he was sorry. I think he would have gladly done it again if my mom hadn't said anything. If you, there's a video about Tom Leykis. And Tom Leykis he's gone far off the deep end these days. But when he was on the radio, he talked about his drunk dad. And how his dad was so drunk, that's how my dad was, exactly like that. Give me 2 more shots. Well, that's 3 out of 4. Not too bad. Well, we tried. But that's how dads can be. You know, they can be assholes. And if we weren't shooting guns, we played other things. Most notably, cards. So, doing a simple game. Oh, Joker. So Joker doesn't count. Because when you're playing blackjack, you got to use the cards. So here's a 5. Here's a 5. So should I hit or stay? Should I stay at this or should I hit again? Let me think. I'm gonna go for another card. But my dad was very simple in this way. He would never play video games, never played pinball, never played those arcade, you know, like those carnival games where you shoot the duck, the rubber ducky with the targets on it. Never, nothing like that. Nothing. I think he had a tilting marble maze, but he never really played that very much. He had sort of a rolling ball that you would, like a bowling ball that you roll and knock targets with, but he never used that very often. He never played board games, nothing like that. He was very, very simple in design. So let's see. I have 15. I'm going to stay. Let's see what the dealer has. That's 14, or that's 13. Okay. So I'm at 15, 16. So if this is 21, it's over. Let's see. That's 13, 23. I win. So, you know, whether you're playing blackjack, 21, I think my dad tried to play Jim Rummy. He had like the pinochle style playing cards. That was how it was. This is a game he never played too often. He would rather just shoot, you know, targets off the targets somewhere. He never shot bottles, but my dad had so many guns, and we lived in East LA, so he could have done. I mean, like I said, when he slapped me around when I was 14, I mean, like, just because I wasn't shooting the way he wanted me to shoot. That was it. It wasn't because I stole money. It wasn't because I was ripping off people or doing anything criminal at 14. It's because I wasn't doing what he wanted. Like, he should have been grateful that one of his sons was still alive. I lost my two brothers to AIDS and blood hemorrhaging um, throughout from 1970s to 80s. And it's like, how dare you blame me somehow? And my dad blamed me for a lot of things. I mean, it's like he blamed me for my brother's death by making me eat more, like eat your food, like at dinner time. Like these little petty things are just so stupid, right? But they matter, in one deal or another. And here we have a game of Japanese chess. My dad would not know how to play this, but I have it here because it's an old game. And I'm going to try to get up and try to play this a little bit better. So I think I remember how to play this. But yeah, my dad was not a reasonable person. He worked dead-end jobs, okay? He did college, then he dropped out of college for the sake of getting married. And I remember my mom would tell me a story about, I think it's, let's see, my move. About how my dad would almost hit her before any of us were born. And I still believe that my dad actually hit my mom once before any of us were born. Now you can say I'm just being a dumbass and I don't know what I'm talking about. I say, go fuck yourself, because, you weren't there. None of you were there. I'm saying this not only to you, but to my sisters too. My sisters, for all their narcissistic acquired knowledge, they don't know what the hell happened. They don't know what was going on. The thing was that my dad was such an angry person. You would think that the siblings in the family would kind of rally together against the parents, right? No, it was this hierarchy. If you're the oldest child, you're the slave master, and the Negro slave was the last child. That's how it worked. Hierarchies. Everybody against each other. My mom would pick favorite children. My dad was just the drunk who would come home after like going to work, leave the house at 4:30 to 5, go to work at 6, stay like Homer Simpson, go like checking out everything over with inspecting everything at the well, it's not a nuclear power plant. My dad worked at it. First he worked as a mortician, and then he worked as let me see whose move it is. I'm going to say it's my move. And then you can move this is the lance. So the lance moves one way. So the lance moves here, and then the way this is that these pieces can promote. So a lot of these pieces in Japanese chess can promote to like with the bishop. The bishop, you know how the bishop moves in regular chess. But if you turn this over, the bishop actually can promote to he can move one square orthogonically, like a rook, one square. So like the rook here can move one square diagonally if it's promoted to this side. So that's what's great about this. And also too, in Japanese chess, you can turn some of these guys to your side. If you put one on an empty square, like with the pawns, you could have only up to 9 pawns. And these are for when you capture the pieces. But yeah, it's hard to concentrate while you're trying to do simple things here, because it's hard to know who's moving first. Let me see what I have here. I can move him over here for now, and then I'll move this piece over here. Ah, Jesus. And then this piece here, and then this. So I remember one time that I had forged my mom's signature for, it wasn't even a final exam or a midterm. It was just a stupid thing I did for electronics class. And it was sitting in my backpack, and my sister had told my dad about going through my backpack. So my sister betrayed me, who I thought I was close to. She betrayed me and told on me to go through my backpack. My dad went through my bag, found all this stuff, and then he proceeded to beat the shit out of me. He was like, he had this razor strap that you use to clean razors, and he was like he would. I'm sorry, I ruined my game, but part of me is really angry right now, and he would like slam the edge of the door to threaten to hit me 20 times. And if you escape, I'm going to hit you 40 times. And if you try to get away, I'm going to hit you 60 times. Like, that's the way he was, okay? So I'm kind of done with all this. I just wanted to show you. But basically, the way my dad was that he was always looking for a punching bag. And throughout my life, whether it was my father, my cousin Gabriel, Sydney from middle school, other kids from elementary school, those Armenian gangs who claimed I damaged their car back in 2003, the cunts I had to work with in fast food, when I did Vampire Masquerade, you can look that up, Vampire Masquerade. 2 women had a problem with me, okay? One of them was Natalie, and the other one was Carly, okay? They had personal issues with me, all right? And I just I'm not going to have this with them, okay? Now they could say there's something wrong with me, but you know what? There was hate and bigotry from everyone throughout my 43 years, and my dad was just another asshole. Do you know when he hit me with that razor strap when he found the forged signature of my assignment? I was 17 years old. So I was close to being 18 and going out the door. Then when I was 20, like the first couple of years of college, he was picking my classes for me. He was picking my school for me. So that was bullshit. Like, what the fuck was that about? So, I mean, this to me, it's a very sensitive topic when I talk about this stuff, because I don't feel anything anymore. I used to have bad dreams when my dad would come back from the dead. My dad died of pancreatic cancer back in 2002. He's been gone for 19 years. I don't think about him that much, except when I think, like, if his spirit would ever come back, he'd be angry with me. It's kind of like A Beautiful Mind, you know, when you just imagine these people coming back from the dead and they're disappointed. They're so disappointed in you. But it's like, you know what? I have to take accountability for myself, me. You know, I meet the wrong people. I dated the wrong women. I made the wrong financial decisions. I chose the wrong jobs. I make the wrong friends. I went to the wrong ventures in my life, acting or doing certain volunteer work. That's my fault. Who I talk to and who I meet up with and those relationships that I forged or tried to forge, that's me. But as far as how I was raised and how I grew up, because you're only a kid 17 times before you turn 18, that's on my parents. My family raised us a certain way. My father raised me a certain way. And it's, you know, and you could say, well, what could I do? If I ran away from home and the cops found me and had to put me back, do you think my dad would not do something really angry? I mean, my dad was so, like, the anger, like you see the anger in the eyes, that's what I would deal with, okay? I would deal with that kind of thing in my face. And when you're a child, like you think of Gabriel Fernandez, right? Remember how he died? And you think, well, yeah, it could have been as bad. It could have been worse like that. But just because my dad never killed us or attempted to kill us didn't mean that was never there. I mean, the fact that he pointed a gun at his chest and pulled the trigger, ooh, look, see, no bullets. Well, you thought I was going to kill myself. Like, what kind of household is that? And that terrified me forever from never wanting to have children at 18, 19, 21, 25, 30. And right now, I'm scared of that. You know, it might have been quote unquote funny to have put me through that, but to put somebody else through that, why? So I have to think of the positives. That there were once in a while my dad would try to encourage me to do right, but most of the time it was bullshit. So that's what I want. I mean, this was not going to be a happy time to talk about all this with you, whether I was shooting or playing cards. I try to keep calm and composed with chess. The whole point of chess was to beat my dad at chess, and I never beat him at chess. Once you beat my dad at chess, you never wanted to play again because then he'd know how. He would always he when he played chess, like if you know where the rook, the bishop is in chess, he would move that rook really quick to get onto the middle of the battlefield. So that's tough. Um, yeah, I don't got much more to say, but if you have a good dad, and like I told you, when my mom hugged me, that was weird. My dad never hugged me. Holding me as a baby does not count. If you're a dad, if you got a kid, please do me a favor. Do me a big favor, okay? Especially if it gets you a tie and you're like, hug your kids every few months, maybe once on their birthday, once at Christmas time, once when you really have a bad day and you know your kids are there. Give your kids a hug. Maybe they won't be carjackers, maybe they won't be drug dealers, maybe they'll stay out of prison. You know, they may do marijuana and they may do vaping, but maybe they're not obsessed with it and they turn into real addicts and shit. You know, that's all I'm saying. Happy Father's Day to those of you who have good dads, and play a game of Japanese chess if you can.